This is the Aflac Insurance Inside High School Sports Show, highlighting all of Section 3, interviewing the greatest local coaches and athletes. Brought to you by SummitCars.com, broadcasting in the ESPN studios. Here's your host, Mike Bristol, and Eagle Newspapers' Phil Blackwell.
All right, what's going on, Phil? How about that big Cuse game?
Yeah, that was kind of a pleasant surprise, to put it mildly, and if they can keep the thing up. Now it's the whole thing of trying to follow it up today against Pitt and then further down the road and not just be a one-off, and be a one.
Easy.
You don't want the season to peak in January.
He's their negative guy. All right,
what I mean is,
I know. All right, we've got a great Inside High School Sports Show here for you. We're going to kick things off with our Athletic Spotlight interview with members of the Chittenden girls volleyball team. Instead of having, you look at a string of great seasons back-to-back, Section 3, Class B titles. You look at this hunger and the team that this Chittenden girls volleyball team has. 2018-19 season, the Bears really running over everybody, owning a 12-0 record. Every single one of them 3-set sweeps. So in the midst of this, latest championship quest here, head coach Amy Simmons, a bunch of their players will be here in studio, and we're going to talk with the members of the Chittenden girls volleyball team.
The scary part is that they might be even better now than before. I mean, they lost some players from last season, but they brought back Tyler Kutry, who is going to play beach volleyball in college, I think at UNC Wilmington, and she's the star, and everyone understands that. But they've got other players up front. They've got two setters, Bayla Kutry, Tyler's sister, along with Shelby Merring. They have a fine libero with Brenna Stanton. They have all kinds. They just have every answer you'd want. Depth on the front line. They can serve well. And it's just scary how much just running over everybody this season. Just a dominant team, and it's worth talking about.
Also, we got to mention is you have to look at the Baldwinsville boys swim team. So that's going to be our SummitCars.com spotlight interview. And one of the better stories of the high school boys swimming season is how the Baldwinsville Bees have emerged as one of the best teams in the area with just 18 swimmers on the roster. Beeville's put together a 9-1 record with its only loss to a much larger Liverpool squad, and several of its swimmers have already qualified to appear in March's state championship meet. So Coach Chris Ludden and the Bees star swimmers, Nick Schultz, Elks Hilbrand, Bailey London, John Licaradello, all will be here in studio.
Yeah, I mean, this has been building for a few years. Beeville a few years ago was just overwhelmed by every opponent. They just couldn't do much. Now they've built this core group of swimmers. Hilbrand's, I think, the only senior, and the others are all juniors. And they are just winning every meet. They're putting up quick times. They've already, like I said, qualified for several races for the state championship, which takes a lot of pressure off late in the season. And once you get to the sectional meet in February at Nottingham, they don't have to worry about whether they got get the quick times to get to the state meet. They can relax and just compete and go ahead and peak in March at the state championships. But they've done a remarkable job for a team with that small a roster.
All right, so Phil and I are going to go through some of the top 10 stuff. We'll start getting, obviously, the kids in studio. But I wanted to chat a little bit about, the highly anticipated boys basketball game. Two state-ranked Class AA teams, undefeated at the time. Corcoran pulled it out, 67-64 over West Genesee. Let's talk about this. And kind of go through, because you had Willamika fouling out, but getting a big night from DeJour Reveal. Let's talk all of this.
Well, that was probably the most memorable game of the season so far. Genesee had both went back and forth, tight all the way. Amika fouling out made a difference, and Reeves had a huge fourth quarter in overtime, and that really made the difference for the Cougars to win that game and stay undefeated. West Genesee then lost to Henniger in overtime a few nights later, but turned it around with 3 wins this week, including impressive road victories at CNS and at Liverpool, which showed that they were just fine. And Lucas Sutherland had 30-plus points a couple of times this week, and he's been just a strong player for the Wildcats. But Corcoran also had some scare. FM, the last-place team in the league, almost beat Corcoran on Tuesday, but Corcoran pulled that out by 4, and then they won a tight game over CNS Friday, so they are still undefeated. They're like 14-0 now, the Cougars. Can they pull off what Liverpool did last year, make it through the entire regular season undefeated? I mean, maybe asking for a state title might be asking too much, but so far, 14-0 for Corcoran.
All right, so let's also talk about, and then you had West Genesee lost again in overtime to Henniger later in the week. As you mentioned, Corcoran beat Baldwinsville 12-0. Or to improve 12-0. Rome Free Academy, other main challengers in Class AA, with CNS. They put together a 6-game winning streak. Very nice. West Genesee and Corcoran, Liverpool, all have won 6 to 8 since an 0-5 start. Kind of go through that just real quick if you can.
I mean, Liverpool has improved plenty. They did start 0-5, and then they won 7 of their next 9 games, I believe, to get back to the 500 mark before they fall to Liverpool or West Genesee on Thursday night. Still, Ryan Blackwell might be doing a better coaching job this year than last. He doesn't have Charles Pride, Naz Johnson, and all those seniors that were part of those championship teams. But they've managed to put together a competitive team that could make people worry come playoff time and peak at the right moment. And Rome Free Academy is probably the strongest team, them in the Tri-Valley League, them and Whitesboro, the 2 strong teams in the Tri-Valley. RFA plays that fast tempo that really can drive people crazy, especially if they don't see it every night. And they gave West Virginia a pretty good scare in December, and Corcoran a good scare in December. So those are the top contenders at the moment in Class AA.
So much will be learned, and we'll talk about this, what happened Tuesday night in boys basketball. 10-0 Central Square is going to host 11-1 JD, the biggest Red Hawks home game in years. So the Red Rams seem to have endured the loss of Robinson Well, going 2-1 without him, but it's lost. It really came to fellow contender Whitesboro. Phil, real quick, let's talk a little bit about the Warriors. Let's go through JD. Let's go through some of these games, Central Square, and how good they've been.
In that game on Tuesday night, Central Square trailed going to the fourth quarter, but Tim Giblin had another big night, and the Red Hawks came from behind and won that game to temporarily stay undefeated, move to 11-0, only to get beat last night by Cortland. The Purple Tigers, a 500 team, rose up, took a big early lead, saw Central Square come back, but hit some late free throws, and the Purple Tigers knocked off the Red Hawks, giving them their first loss of the season as JD bounced back with a big night from Peyton Shumpert to beat Fulton. The top teams in Class A are not separated by too much, but those top 3, really 4, because Bishop Grimes is on a real roll as well, really on a hot roll. Too bad their MLK tournament got canceled because of the weather issues. They were supposed to play it tomorrow and Monday. But JD bounced back. But as I said, Central Square, Whitesboro, JD, and Grimes are the top 4 in Class A, and not much separates them.
Very nice. Let's not forget about the Warriors, 10-2. Last Friday, let's talk about Tommy Morrell, 46 points, breaking 1,000 for his career. Double OT win over Auburn. Of course, Bishop Grimes carrying its own 6-game win streak, but boy, Bob McKinney and his crew winning included handing CBA and then Johnson City in the Zebra Classic. Also, Lafayette beat Pulaski. Bishop Ludden again defeated CBA in the latest Holy War. So some great matchups, great games there.
In fact, Ludden beat 2 rivals in this week. First, they beat CBA in the Holy War Sunday as both teams wore 1974 jerseys. Then Thursday night, Ludden went to Westill and handled them. I mean, this is a little bit of a down year for the Warriors, but Ludden is seemingly rounding into shape in Gallagher Driscoll's first season as head coach. They're finding some balance. They've got Nick Button hitting 3-point shots, Champ Reed giving him double figures every night, Michael Kegler, Monty Johnson. It's a pretty balanced lineup. Ludden is the other team in Class AA that is a real mystery because, like I said, they're not playing most of these AA teams until the sectionals, and they come, maybe with less pressure than in seasons past, and they might surprise.
One thing, you look at Bishop Ludden could do in boys basketball is really spoil the dreams of a Skinny Alice undefeated season. So look at this. Impressive wins last week over Mexico and Salve. The Lakers 12-0. They're going to deal with Jordan Elbridge. We'll talk about that. Casnovia this week. We'll chat about that quick. Cooperstown. We got to mention Cooperstown still sitting at number 2 in the state Class A rankings. They started the week 14-0. We'll chat about that for a minute. And also got a big scare last Thursday from Herkimer, but winning it 71-61.
Cooperstown has kept himself undefeated this week, too. Tough game last night. They won big night from Jack Lambert again for them. As for Skinny Atlas, I'll tell you, Jordan Elbridge was their closest call this season. They trailed. They came back. They led by 9 going to the fourth quarter. J.E. came back down by 1, had the ball in the final seconds with a chance to win, but they just wouldn't let Jeremiah Sparks take a shot. They had to pass it off, missed that, and they held on that way, Skinny Atlas, to stay undefeated. Then they beat Casnovia on Thursday. The game with Ludden's a week from, I think, Tuesday. That'll be the biggest, I think, hurdle, perhaps. And Skinny Atlas has a rematch with J.E. next Friday, so they've got to look out for that game, too.
What do you want to... Let's talk about the Hawkeyes, that game Friday against Waterville at Weedsport. Chat about that. Just one loss this season. Of course, there's some big games. You got Onondaga, got a sweet win, playoff nemesis over Tully late last week. But let's talk a little bit about the Hawkeyes here this Friday game.
Yeah, with Cooperstown, it's been, all season long, they've answered every challenge thrown at them. I mean, Jack Lambert's the star of the team. Everyone knows that. But it's a team that can really, really... They've been strong all season. They've been number 2 in the state rankings most of the year. They know they're going to get everyone's best game, and yet they keep managing to win every night. And Cooperstown's the favorite, but you got Weedsport with only 1 loss this season themselves,
That's right,
and that was
yeah.
to Skinny Atlas.
Yep.
So, I mean, Cooperstown last night beat Waterville 67-57. In that game, Lambert had 36 points, 5 rebounds, more than half their points. Lambert kind of taking over the way Tyler Bertram used to with
that's
Cooperstown.
right,
And remember, they have a new coach as well, and they've managed to keep themselves undefeated.
You know, 2 state-ranked Class D top 10 teams met last week, and that's Lafargeville got past Lyme 73-68.
There's not much separation, I think, among the Class D teams at the top, whether it's Lafargeville, Lyme, McGraw, maybe Tom Blackford's Hamilton team. I mean, a lot of contenders there, and no one that's really, really sticking out as the overwhelming favorite with about a month left in the regular, 3-4 weeks left in the regular season.
All right. There seems to be, given the gap between those 2 teams and everyone else in Class AA girls basketball, and we're talking some girls hoops today, and we'll get through some other stuff, but West Genesee girls hoops against CNS Tuesday night, really important. The Wildcats made 2 comebacks to beat the North Stars in overtime in December, but CNS didn't have Julia Rowe. So now you look at this rematch, and speaking of West Genesee, Madison Smith passed 1,000 career points. That was last Friday against Henninger. And the same happened that night. Let's talk about this. Go right through it.
I mean, the rematch was another memorable game. West Genesee chased CNS most of the night, just like in the first meet. They took the lead in the fourth quarter, just like they did in the first meet. The difference was that CNS closed strong. A 15-0 run in the fourth quarter ultimately won that game. They got 21 points from Jessica Cook, big contributions from the likes of Rowe and Morgan Seishin. And they really held Madison Smith in check, even though Mackenzie Smith had about 19 points. And so CNS has gotten even with that. And don't forget that they might not be the only teams. Even though there's a big gap, Liverpool is improving a lot quickly. Liverpool gave West Genesee a pretty good scare Thursday night. Even though the Wildcats won that game, the Warriors were pretty close to them. And they've developed a nice group there, Liverpool. And they may be the one team that might win. And they get a shot at CNS next Friday, by the way. So that'll be an interesting game to watch. Liverpool's improved a lot since December.
Real quick, Gabe Knights won 6 in a row. I mentioned that, including last Sunday's victory over CVA in the Zebra Classic, and have really emerged. New Hartford, by the way, chief challengers to JD in Class A in the ranks. New Hartford, want to mention?
Yes, of course. You've got Henderson there, who's having that great season for the Spartans, and they only have 2 losses this season, so they've been very strong. And JD, it's weird because JD didn't play but 1 game in about 20 days. This week, they got back to form, winning twice easily. The Red Rams are still the ones everyone's going to try to chase. But you could make an argument that maybe New Hartford and certainly Bishop Ludden with their 1,000-point scorer Aurora Deshays could give them something to worry about because, might be a little more competitive. JD's not going to have the easiest time of it, whoever they end up facing.
Slowly at top of the tier in girls hoops. We're going to get through girls hoops and we're going to go right to our interviews. Look at Class B. So let's look at some of the contenders who have emerged. With perennial powers, of course, West Hill and South Jefferson rolling. The Spartans have knocked off Section 4 power Susquehanna Valley last week. Susquehanna, Rivals Oneida, VVS are there too. The Indians just completed a regular season sweep of the Red Devils in an intriguing game with the Mustangs. I love it. My Marcel squad. We're going to chat about that. What happened this week. Let's go to that first, and then I want to get into Class C.
Marcel's has done pretty well given that they're 18s, but Oneida beat him on Tuesday night, and Lauren Skibitsky, I believe, in that team, passed 1,000 career points as well. A great 2-sport star who was a 3-sport star. She's great at tennis, was in state tournament, great at softball. One of those rare 3-sport athletes, Skibitsky, and she's had a fantastic career. Looking at the top of Class B, I mean, yes, Oneida swept VVS twice, but the Red Devils have handled everyone. They got one over New Hartford, for example. And as for West Hill, the thing surrounds Mackenzie Martin, but they have other people like Jenna Larrabee, Catherine Dady, players like that, and they've been playing really well the last month. Ditto South Jefferson. I think the Class B sectional tournament is going to have a lot of intrigue to it because most of these top teams haven't faced each other, and again, not much seems to separate them.
Class C, we've got Weedsport well rested, takes a 13-0 record into games this week. We're going to talk about that. Was it 14, 15? Yep. Poor Byron Cato Meridian, so another top contender. Let's talk about it. Go ahead.
Yeah, they keep going. Weedsport still undefeated as they won both times
my teaser.
this week.
That was my teaser going.
And I'll tell you, they have done an amazing job this season as they're closing in perhaps the defeated regular season. Weedsport's certainly the team to beat in Class B. But I'll tell you, they have very strong teams at Little Falls, at Thousand Islands. And again, in Class C, so much of the intrigue of that is that teams don't really face each other until the playoffs. So there's not, there's a lot of mystery before you get to the postseason. So, I mean, it'll be a lot of fun once we get to that point. But Weedsport's handling people. Case in point, they beat Kia Meridian 69-23 the other night.
All right, real quick. Girls Hoop still. Thousand Islands took a damaging loss last week to Copenhagen. The Golden Knights proving that it's on the short list here, the top Class D sides. Madison, Brookfield also a couple contenders there. Very good
Madison
teams.
was undefeated for a long time, I think, until Brookfield, knocked them off a couple of weeks ago. Copenhagen, that was a rather impressive win. Thousand Islands is one of the stronger Class C sides. To beat them shows the Golden Knights certainly have championship material this year.
All right, Phil Blackwell and Mike Bristol here on the Aflac Insurance Inside High School Sports Show. When we get back, we're going to kick things right off with our Aflac Spotlight interview with members of the Chittenden girls volleyball team. 12-0, they are rolling. Be right back. This is ESPN Radio 97.7, 100.1, presented by SummitCars.com.
This is the Aflac Insurance Inside High School Sports Show, brought to you by SummitCars.com.
All right, here we are back in studio. Mike Bristol and Phil Blackwell. And thanks for hanging out with us here on this great Saturday morning. We've got our Aflac Spotlight interview members of the Chittenden girls volleyball team. Amy Simmons, what's going on? How are you, Amy?
We're great.
Great to have you here in studio and hanging out with us. Let's talk a little bit about this team. So 2019-18-19 season, running over pretty much everybody, owning a 12-0 record, every single one of them, 3-set sweeps. Let's talk about it. What a team.
Yeah, they're doing amazing.
What have they done that's made them such a great program?
They have all worked hard. They work hard all year round. They play club. They just gel on the court.
All right. Well, let's talk about who's in the studio. First of all, Shelby Maring. What's up, Shelby?
Hi.
Shelby came right in all fired up. Shelby, what position?
I'm a setter.
Nice. How do you like this team?
I like them a lot.
Atta girl. Savannah. What's up, Savannah? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. So talk a little bit about this team as well. What do you girls like to do off the court? Hang out?
Yeah. We just hang out and we have really good chemistry because we're all really close.
That's really nice. Jada. What's up, Jada?
I'm doing great.
Great. It's great to have you here in studio. So, Jada, what's one thing that kind of differentiates you from some of these other teams you guys play?
We are all just friends off and on the court. We work well. We all love to just hang out with each other.
Good work, Jada. Let's go to Bayla. Bayla. What's up, Bayla?
Nothing much.
So you look at this team and the record 12-0. Are you surprised? Did you girls think, like in the beginning of the season, we're going to be undefeated so far?
Well, yeah, I don't know. We've all been playing together for a while, and it's just, I don't know, it's always fun when we play, so it always works well.
And then you and your sister are on the team together?
Yeah, we play beach all year round together too.
Do you really?
Mm-hmm.
Any sister competition on the court? Any rivalry?
Sometimes, yeah.
You ever spaz on each other?
Yeah, I kind of tweak on her sometimes, but that's fine.
Sydney, what's up, Sydney? How are you?
Hey, doing well.
What's happening? Did you did you do a little red in your hair or something? Is that what you guys did?
I did.
All right,
Long time ago.
Is that for the team?
No.
Team colors? You just mixed it in?
If you want to say that can be the story.
All right, talk about this team. You look at you girls, as I mentioned, 12-0, but even with the championship of the last 2 years, is this better than those teams?
I think yes and no. I think that in some ways it's kind of the same because we try to have the same kind of philosophy every single year where every practice and every game is leading up to the sectional finals, and we just work hard every single day.
Nice. Tyla and Bela. So Tyla, what's going on, Tyla?
Not much. Pretty cold outside.
Tyla, are you near that microphone? Where are you? Get close to it.
Yeah.
Say hello to everybody.
Hello.
So say hello to your parents.
Hi, Mom and Dad.
That's really nice. And talk about you two working together, you and your sister.
Well, she's a pretty good setter, so it's helpful. But she, it's really nice and gives me the ball.
All right, good. Katie Simmons. What's up, Katie Simmons?
Nothing.
Good to have you in studios. We're talking with the Aflac Insurance Spotlight interview at Chittenden girls volleyball team. So, Katie, talk about the team in general and all the girls you get to play with here.
Well, I love them all a lot. We're all we get along so well because we're all friends on and off the court, like Jada said.
Yep.
So yeah, there's just good chemistry.
All right, Coach, let's go to you, and let's I want a little bit more depth out of you here right now, and I want to go right through this team. So let's get this rolling here. We've got our Aflac Insurance Spotlight interview, and then what we have is also piggybacked with our SummitCars.com Spotlight interview. So let's get things rolling here. Let's talk about last 2 years, championships. Now you've got this team. Talk about how good these girls are, but also compare it a little bit to the other teams.
Yeah, that's a question that comes up a lot. How do we compare to last year's team? And it would be really fun to see the two teams play.
Yeah, right.
I think offensively we're a little bit stronger this year. I think defensively we might have been a little bit stronger last year. But it is great just having these kids year in and year out. They just work hard and they work well together.
All right, very, very good. So when you look at, great setters and spikers and all that kind of stuff, talk a little bit about this team.
Again, I know we've said it a lot, but it goes back to chemistry. But
in particular, call people like the girls who's doing what? Like tell me who's Shelby, what she's adding, and Savannah, and what these girls, each individual name.
So like last night we had Shelby-Bayla combination. Even though they're both our setters, they were hooking each other up and getting some kills. A lot of times it's Shelby-Tyla connection going on. We had Savannah filling in this year, stepped up to a starting position as an outside hitter, plays all the way around defensively, offensively. Sydney, our other outside, coming back, her third year on varsity. Jada filling in on the middle. Bayla coming in, stepping in as a starting setter, which is great. These kids just walk in as juniors and like they've been playing all their life.
And start playing, yeah. Shelby, let's go to you here. You look at the back line, so senior, obviously yourself, Shelby Maring. You've got some help here from Katie and Bayla. Talk about that for us and the depth of your back line, if you can.
Like passing?
If you want. Yeah.
Oh. I don't know. All my passes from everyone who passes back row, they always pass their pass. Like, Brenna Stanton, for example, she's our libero. Mm-hmm. They always pass their passes right up to target where I have 3 options to set. So I can set anybody I want to because their passes are always so good.
And do you know, is that something you're doing beforehand, or is it something while the ball's in the air that you're calling that out, or how's it work? It's always interesting.
I don't know. I guess
you girls are always doing like your hand signals and all that stuff.
I don't know. I guess I don't really think about it because usually when I play volleyball, I don't have any thoughts in my head. So
you just go for it.
Yeah, I just kind of I'm like, okay, let's run this set, or we can do this type of play set, or whatever feels best.
Yeah, I like it. Savannah, let's go to you here for a second. And I kind of want to. Are you yawning there? Are you a little tired or what?
Yeah.
Or are you just getting yourself getting yourself ready to talk a little bit? You guys mentioned your libero, Brenna Stanton. Talk about her for a second, but then just, how it works and how everything kind of falls into place here.
Well, Brenna's probably the best libero I've ever seen, throughout high school. And she never lets the ball drop. She always goes for it and at least gets a touch on it. Yeah.
All right, that's good. Jada, let's bounce here for a second. You look at, I think, as you girls continue to get better and better and how good you've become, what is kind of the goal here? Obviously another championship, but what are you guys already talking about?
We're always talking about making sure to get the point after a timeout. It's just a new goal for us this year, and always just growing our program, each year, continuing to play, travel. We have a travel team called Silver East, and just keep playing with each other to make our program strong as it has been for the last few years.
All right, very nice. Bayla, let's bounce to you here for a second and talk a little bit about UNC Wilmington for beach volleyball. I know Tyler's going to go there. Yeah, I know Tyler's going to go there. But have you guys gone, as a team down to different areas to play or things like that, or traveled?
Tyler and I for beach?
Yeah.
We haven't played together down there, but we went to New York City last year, New Jersey. Tyler and I have different beach partners, but this year we'll be playing together more since her beach partner's in college now.
So that's got to be fun.
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit. That's great.
Well, I'm really excited for her going to, D1 beach volleyball.
Right,
It's really exciting. It's fun playing with her because she's going to be going D1, so it's exciting.
It's big.
I know she's good, so yeah.
Tyler, talk about UNC Wilmington here for a second, but then also getting to play with your sister. That's great.
Oh, when I went down and visited the first time, everybody was so nice, and the coach is amazing, and the team, they all just love it there. They just expanded on everything they liked. Like, they didn't have many dislikes about the team, and like both the head coaches for indoor and beach are amazing.
So real really quick, nice. I'm going to get this here. I want to get this on video real quick. So tell me a little bit about the difference between beach and obviously playing in the gym, but there's got to be huge differences, but there's got to be a lot of the skill level that's the same.
Yeah, so for beach, obviously it's a lot different. When you serve receive, you can't take anything with your hands or open hand, and when you go up to like hit and stuff, no open hand redirecting with your fingers, so it's a lot more hitting, and like you have to place shots with your hand, so you can't use your fingers at all. Everything is hitting, and sets are a lot stricter, but you can like carry a little more. And obviously there's only 2 people on the court for beach, so
D1, ladies and gentlemen. Big round of applause. D1. You can kick the ball and stuff in beach volleyball, can't you?
Yes.
So that's got to be pretty cool. Did you do any of that?
Not usually.
Not usually.
I've done it once.
And that's basically what you had no choice kind of thing, like balls going out or something. You're trying to get it or whatever. That's pretty cool. Coach, talk about that a little bit too. Having a D1 beach volleyball player on your team.
It's pretty cool. Obviously, Tyla has brought a lot to our team and our program. So she's been on varsity for 4 years. To see her go off to D1 Beach is pretty amazing, and I'm super proud of her.
You know, that should be that sport is a blast. Playing beach volleyball is an absolute blast. Obviously, here it's got to be tough, but you do the indoor stuff. Is there some nice indoor beach volleyball courts anywhere? I have no idea.
Well, there's one in Solvay and one in Rochester. The closest ones, like in Solvay, they just put in like a bunch of hand before. It was like kind of harder on the floor, but there's only one court. And then in Rochester, there's one with 2 courts.
So do you travel there and play tournaments, kind of stuff? Yeah, they have
tournaments in the winter, but most, if you want to travel, we go to Ohio or New Jersey for indoor beach.
Very nice. Katie, let's go to you for a second. It's great stuff. Let's think about a little bit of, you guys wish you had the chance to play in the fall and go after state championships like West Hill and the one last November, things like that?
I think we do and we don't, because some of our players play soccer. So that'd be like a tough decision for them. But in the fall, it would definitely be like we would play some tougher teams and it'd be more of a challenge for us.
Gotcha. Yeah, makes sense. Phil, why don't you jump on there? Phil Black, Local Newspapers, who covers you girls all the time.
Yeah, has that been never really talked about at the school? You have a boys and girls teams that play in winter. Has that been talked about at the school level, the audition that you might do fall at some point?
It's always talked about. It's always an option. But right now we're going to stay in the winter.
That's good. Phil, you got anything else? Want me to keep rolling here?
The rest of this, now, one of the things I'm curious about is when you have a team this good, what I've heard from the teams in the past, that the practices can be awfully intense because the matches tend to be lopsided. Is that the case? What any of the players?
Go round or round. Shelby, why don't you answer that first? Let's go right around the horn. Let's go, Shelby. Jump in. Practices, compare the intensity to games.
Well,
nothing like game situation.
Practices are always fun, and we always have a good time. But yes, we are pretty serious, and we work really hard to where we're at.
Savannah, what are practices like for you? Yeah, get yourself ready.
They're fun, but if we're not being serious or something, she works us even harder than usual.
So should happen.
Which is good, though.
Yeah. Jada, practices?
I love practice. It's a good time to work out all the little mistakes and issues that we have sometimes in games. I just feel like we have a good time while we're working hard.
All right. Bela, how about you?
So every practice, even if our next game isn't our biggest competition, our practices are always challenging, and we always work on things we need to work on, even if they're not huge problems that we have, but everything's worked on and everything.
Very nice. Sydney?
I think we have a nice balance between challenging and having a good time, because it's important that we're having fun, because it makes us obviously want to show up every single day, but of course we're working toward that sectional title, so we have to keep working hard.
Tyler, how about you?
Much like Bela and Jada said, we just work on little mistakes that we tend to make repetitively or something, and to go have more new drills to do.
Right. And Katie, same thing.
We always have fun, we do fun drills, but while we're doing the fun drills, we're always working hard. And we go to a lot of tournaments, so that helps to practice because then you are practicing your skills while playing other teams, and it's different than a game situation.
Gotcha. All right, let's keep rolling here. So let's talk a little bit about what you girls do off the court and some of the fun stuff you do. Do you guys have any team dinners, Shelby? You girls ever get together and pizza party or pasta or anything like that?
We have team sleepovers and we have team dinners too.
Really? So tell me a little bit about it. Where do they usually take place? You mix it up. What do you guys do? Do you guys go out to restaurants? You bring food in? What do you do?
Well, for team sleepovers, we always go to Chloe's house.
Okay.
She's not here.
Chloe?
Chloe, she's not here today. And then for like team dinners, we just go wherever. We go out to eat somewhere before a game.
All right. Savannah, what's the favorite place you guys go out to eat? Let's go. You don't have one? What's your favorite food? Come on.
DeMario's.
Jada, how about you? Food-wise?
I love DeMario's too. But most of the time, our team likes to go to like smaller places too, like Subway. Subway's a good one.
Baylor, what do you like?
I like it when like our team parents they make the food because it's always like chicken riggies. It's really good, filling. Yeah.
Good stuff. Sydney?
I'm with Bela. I like the homemade stuff.
Yeah. Tyler?
I like the homemade stuff too, but really love DeMario's sandwiches. They're so good.
Yeah. Coach, how about you? What do you like?
Not about food, but about getting together. They don't know this yet, but they're gonna go rock climbing together too for a little team bonding.
That sounds nice. Katie, real quick, food-wise, what do you like?
I'm with Tyla. I like the homemade, but I also love DeMario's.
All right. Katie, let's stick with you. Let's do some shout-outs right around the board. Go ahead.
Some shout-outs?
Shout-out. Who do you want to shout out to? Your parents, brother, sister, cat,
my
dog?
My mom is here.
Oh, nice. Tell your mom hello. All right. Tyler, how about you?
My parents and Coach Althorpe.
Sydney.
I think my dad's listening, so hey, Dad.
Nice. Coach, how about you real quick?
Coach Ellithorpe and Coach Chisanetti.
Nice. Bela.
Coach Althorpe and my parents and brother.
Very nice. Jada.
I like to shout out to my parents. They love to make posters and food and everything for our team.
That's the best. Savannah. There you go, Savannah. Good work.
My parents and Jada's parents.
Shelby.
My parents are listening right now. Hey, Mom and Dad.
Very nice. All right. Give yourselves a big round of applause. Chick Nangle Girls Volleyball Team. We'll be right back on deck. Our spotlight interview, Baldwinsville Boys Swim Team, next here on ESPN Radio 97.7, 100.1, presented by SummitCars.com.
This is the Aflac Insurance Inside High School Sports Show, brought to you by SummitCars.com.
All right, here we are back in studio. Mike Bristol, Phil Blackwell, and we've got our Inside High School Sports Show rolling here and having a good time this Saturday morning. Our SummitCars.com spotlight interview. Members of the Baldwinsville Boys Swim Team and Coach Chris Ludden's in here with his squad. Coach, what's going on? How are you?
Doing well. Had a great night last night, and we're had a good swim this morning. We're a little tired, but happy to be here.
Are you 9-1 or 10-1?
I guess we're 9-1.
9-1. Okay, I want to make sure I got that right. Phil, did you update that this morning? No, 9-1. I just want to make sure. Okay, just want to make sure. Let's talk about who's in studio first. Nick Schultz. What's up, Nick?
Nothing much. Happy to be here.
Good to have you in studio. Nice work. And Alex Hiltbrand. What's up, Alex?
The sky.
That's awesome, Alex. Come on, man. Let's be serious here on ESPN Radio. Let's go, buddy. Let's go. Put it together. Bailey, what's up, Bailey? How are you, buddy?
Nothing much. I'm definitely excited to be here.
All right, John Leachardello. What's up, John?
Not too much. Happy to be here.
Good to have you in here, Coach. Let's bounce to you right off the bat. The fact that 9-1 record. Talk about how good the team has been and just being 9-1 at this point.
Oh man, these guys, especially these guys here, are just so talented, and we have a whole bunch of freshmen that are. The whole team has just really worked hard this year, and things have just come together. This is my first year coaching. I kind of went in. I've been coaching for a long time, but not swimming, and so I knew we had some talent at the top end, and all the rest of the guys have worked really hard, and it's just all come together really nicely.
So, what were you coaching before?
I was a rower in college, and so I've been coaching crew forever. And
great sport.
Yeah, it is. And it's very similar to swimming, actually.
Do you know Bob O'Leary, Judge O'Leary there?
I sure
My
do,
good buddy Bob. He's a terrific guy, and I know a huge supporter of rowing and all that stuff. So, all right, let's bounce here a little bit. Nick, let's go to you for a second. You look at this team in general, the expectations, and even the last few years. Talk about the growth and how good it's become.
We've been on the team together for about 3 years now, and ever since we were freshmen, we've just been putting in a lot of work in the pool and out of the pool, and it's time for us to go fast. So
get it going. Alex, talk about that growth and just all together your teammates here on the squad.
Oh, well, obviously Yeah, like Nick said, we've been together for 4 or 5 years, and our growth has really started from us like being average per se to being like some of the top swimmers in the section.
It's impressive too. Aside from that, and Bailey, let's talk about this. Aside from, I guess, the sheer time commitment, what do you think the biggest obstacle is to having a larger roster, given how good you guys have become?
Definitely with the 4-lane pool, it's a little harder to fit all the guys in, but we manage. We go 5 seconds apart. It's usually fine. No interference there.
It's great to have a pool, right?
Yeah, it's good to have a pool.
In general, let's talk about it. John, let's bounce to you here for a second. And you look at your other teammates and competing with these guys. What's your favorite swim and why is it?
My favorite swim, I generally prefer the long distance stuff. I've always been more of an endurance athlete ever since I was a runner in 7th and 8th grade. So always just enjoyed doing longer distances.
So long guy, not a sprint guy, all that kind of stuff. But you're the turtle that wins it, though.
Yeah.
I love it. Coach, let's go to you here for a second. You look at these guys. In particular, let's talk about Alex, qualified for the state meet, 50 freestyle, and the 100 butterfly. Talk about that.
Well, he's just really, really talented. He also qualified in the 100 free.
That too.
I think at Webster, right? Was that at Webster you qualified for the 100?
No.
Oh, it was at home. It was at home last week.
Okay.
And I mean, he's just he's so talented and he's so big and strong and he's just a leader. Guys look at him and are just like, I want to be like that guy. So it's nice to have someone like that on your team.
All right, Alex, let's go to you here, and we're talking with our SummitCars.com spotlight interview. As I just mentioned, 50 freestyle, 100 butterfly, I guess the 100 free as well. Talk about the time commitment and the work ethic.
Oh, God. Well, the time commitment.
Okay.
The time commitment is obviously a lot. I mean, I've been doing this for 10 years. People come up to me and ask me, how do you do it? I go, you swim for a long time. So obviously, it takes a lot of work to be as good as I am, and I encourage other people to do it. I mean, it's hard, but people can do it.
Get it going, right? Alex or Nick, let's go to you here for a second, and you look at where you guys are at this point. What still needs to improve, and is Coach stressing specific things still here in the season, or do you guys feel like you're just rolling?
Well, we've gotten a lot of things fixed throughout the season, but one of the main things that's been going throughout the whole season is the definitely flip turns and turning in general. We need to work on getting those a little bit faster.
You've reached the 100 breaststroke. Is that what we did? State meet?
Yes.
Talk about that.
So the 100 breaststroke, that's basically all I swim.
It's awesome.
Yeah. I've always had like a special knack, I guess you can call it, for that. And
so God made you to swim the breaststroke.
Yes.
That's right. Hey, that's exactly it. And you've competed and you've done very, very well. Coach, when you look at specific, targeting guys and saying, hey, this guy's great for this guy should be doing this. And then there's probably some convincing too. Hey, I know you like this, but you're better at this. Talk about that.
Well, I've actually several times this season, I'll just go to the guys and say, what do you want to swim? Yep. If it's a meet where I'm not too worried about the outcome, or some of the big meets like at Webster and last night even, I said, what do you want to swim? And so I think it's been good because guys are actually getting out of their comfort zone sometimes. Yep. And then suddenly they realize, hey, I'm actually pretty good at this. So I like to give them a lot of, sort of just a lot of stake in it. And so if I see, obviously, if there's a time when, we need to go win the breaststroke, then Nick's going to swim the breaststroke. But like last night, he said, hey, I'd like to take a break, coach. And that was okay.
Bailey, how's it having your dad? You guys. You ever say, hey, Dad?
Very interesting.
Back off, bro.
We have some not very disagreements, but I like to control a little too much, I think.
Oh, so you're like trying to be the assistant coach. Your dad's like, wait a minute, I'm the head coach.
He listens,
I'm coaching you.
Yeah.
Give me an example. Something recent. I can't wait.
Intervals. Although sometimes that's mostly all of us guys pitching on that, but what we're doing. Sometimes I like to have my say in that. Like if we're doing 10 100s, I only want to do 5.
Oh, so you say, Dad, listen.
Why are we doing 10 100s? We should be doing 5.
Oh, boy, that's got to be fun. Coach, that's got to be fun, having your son chiming in your ear all the time.
It is. It's actually a blast. The reason I came to this sport was I've been around it for a few years watching Bailey swim, but I coach both my daughters in rowing.
Oh, okay.
And so it was just a great experience. And I said, hey, here's an opportunity. I should take it. And I will say, I have a lot of really, there's a lot of coaches I talk to every day that help me because I am in my first year. And there are times when I throw unrealistic things at them. But most everything I throw at them workout-wise, I'm bouncing off of another coach first. So I'm not just making random stuff up for him.
Bailey, you're also great at sprints and, helping the relays and things like that. And you like the shorter distances. Talk about that.
Yeah, well, last year I dropped a lot of time, more than I thought I would in the 100.
Okay.
And then this year I came into the 100 thinking maybe I could, by the end of the year, get an individual state cut. I'm still working to it, but I think my strong suit is definitely the 100.
Nice. John, what was taken away from last night's SCAC meet? What did Coach say? Yeah, what did you guys learn? What did you guys figure out?
We learned that we definitely need to work on our relay starts, reaction time, and all that. Alex was really fast, but the rest of us...
Oh, so Alex is the only one that didn't, but the rest of you guys?
We could definitely use some improvement. That's just something that comes with time, judging the distance and all that.
All right.
Learned a lot.
Very, very nice. Coach, what needs to happen to keep this thing rolling and strong and where it's been, how you guys have it now?
Well, they've talked about it. Like, we need to keep working on turns and underwaters. We need to work on those relay starts, although I will say I think they're pretty good. But it's mostly just the work. That's been my focus this year because I don't know the technique as well. I've just said, let's work hard, let's work properly, and hopefully at the end of the year, all that work pays off.
All right, let's do some shout-outs. Nick, who do you want to give a shout-out to? Let's go right down the row.
To my mom, who's probably one of my biggest supporters.
Nice. Alex, how about you, buddy? What are you going to shout out?
Well, I'd like to give a couple shout-outs.
Yeah,
if that's
definitely.
okay.
You can do many.
First of all, my family, my mom, my dad.
Is your mom here?
Yes, my mom's standing right there, actually.
Did you give her a big hug and tell her thank you for all she's done for you?
Not yet.
I hope you do that.
I'd like to thank all my coaches that I have swam through the 10 years. And I'd like to thank my radio show at school for
hooking you up.
Yeah.
Do you go on air a lot?
Sometimes, yeah.
Or are you hosting, or are you just going on air?
I'm just going on air.
Okay, very nice. And
WBXL.
Yeah, Bailey, how about you, buddy?
Definitely my past coaches and my current coach, my dad, and then I guess my family. They're pretty supportive of me.
Very nice. Johnny boy, how about you?
I'd like to shout out all the coaches I've ever swam under during my 11 or 12 years swimming.
John, you look like you got ready for this. You got a nice shirt on and everything.
Oh, yeah.
You prepared.
I prepared for it.
Very nice. I like that. Very well prepared.
I'd like to thank my family. They're always there at my meets, supporting me, everything else.
What are you going to be, an engineer?
No, I'm going into marine biology.
I was thinking, something science or something like that. I could nail you right there. Coach, how about you? Shout out.
I of course, my family and coaching Bailey. I mean, coaching all these guys is great, but coaching Bailey is special too. And my wife, who puts up with a lot of me being away a lot.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah,
special woman right there. Glad you gave your wife a shout out. Phil, do you want to mention anything before we bounce here?
Just wanted to mention that you said you won every relay race last night. I mean, just as a overall of last night's meet of how that went.
Well, yeah, the guys decided, again, like I said, I like to give them a stake in what we're doing, and they decided a couple weeks ago, let's go for the 3 relays. And I said, I think that's a good idea. So these guys each swam 1 individual event in the 3 relays. The rest of the team swam 2 individuals and 2 relays. But, the fact that they won all 3, they got 2 state cuts out of it. They set a school record in one of them. It was kind of like, going into that, you might think, all right, maybe we'll get one of these goals. And the fact that they got so many of them, we just missed out on the states in the 4 free relay. I think we'll give that another shot one of these weeks. Yeah. Pretty impressive.
Very nice. Give yourselves a big round of applause. Bowmansville Boys Swim Team. Very, very nice. All right, boys. Thanks for coming to the studio. We're going to bounce, and Phil and I'll come back a little bit more top 10 stuff, so we'll be right back. This is ESPN Radio 97.7, 100.1, presented by SummitCars.com.
This is the Aflac Insurance Inside High School Sports Show, brought to you by SummitCars.com.
All right, Phil, nice job here today lining those up for us, and I want to get into a few more things here before we take another break. A packed house at Meacham Rink last Friday night saw the Syracuse Cougars reaffirm its place at top Division I hockey, beating West Genesee 6-3 as the Cougars bolted out to a 5-0 lead and absorbed think about it, furious Wildcats comeback. Zola scoring a hat trick, and Syracuse is still number 3 in the state Division I rankings. Let's talk about it.
And Syracuse is still undefeated. I mean, they won 2 more times this week. And in the game against Ontario Bay Thursday night, they scored 20 goals. 20 in a game.
Wow.
But 12 goals in a period.
That's
folks.
crazy.
A little crazy. I know it's a little lopsided. But West Genesee bounced back well, too. 2 shutouts this week for them. as they're still probably the two top teams in Division One, and really no one else seems to be consistently at their level in terms of the Division One teams. But the Cougars still, undefeated. They've managed to only have the one tie with McQuaid, a game they avenged later on, beating them in overtime a week or two later. And they were supposed to play Mamaroneck last night, but because of the weather concerns, Mamaroneck couldn't travel up here. So still undefeated, though, and with only the one tie.
All right, let's keep rolling here. I forgot to mention some of the challengers here, including CNS, who got an impressive 4-0 win last Friday over Baldwinsville, and then the two top-ranked State Division II teams, of course, Skinny Alice and Cortland Homer, have a rematch. Snowed out last week after they tied 6-6 in December. Let's talk about it.
Interesting week in Division II because Skinny Atlas played Auburn, rematch of that big-time rivalry, closer this time than it was in December, but the Lakers won that game 4-3, and then they got some fearsome revenge on New Hartford. It was like an 8-2 win on Thursday night. New Hartford was the team that knocked them out of the sectionals last year in the quarterfinals, one of the biggest shockers of the season. They remembered that, 8-2. But the team they might have to worry about maybe is not so much Cortland Homer, but Oswego. The Buccaneers have moved to the top of the Division II standings with Skinny Atlas, and they've got two head-to-head meetings, the Bucks and the Lakers, over the next couple of weeks that could determine who finishes on top of the regular season standings. Oswego's having a very nice season.
All right. Also, real quick, Auburn, I want to mention arch rival Auburn. Let's talk about that. New Hartford, let's talk about that. Chance to avenge, obviously, the 2018 sectional playoff defeat to the Spartans.
Yeah, that was, again, a very impressive effort on Skinny Atlas's part 8-2 game there. Bauer Morrissey had a hat trick in that game. Skinny Atlas seems to get hat tricks from a bunch of different people at a bunch of different times. It was Morrissey against them. When they played Baldwinsville, it was Cam Jones, I think it was. They're a deep, deep lineup, and anyone can hurt you 2 or 3 lines deep. And if they're going to end up with a state championship run that they think they'll have, that's the reason, because of their depth.
All right. There's you think about a big week for wrestling. And today, the Section 3 dual meet takes place. And like years past when it was all held at CNS, they've moved Division 1 to Indian River, Division 2 Central Valley Academy. Only 5 teams entered in Division 1 with 17 and 3 Fulton the top seed and CNS the number 2 seed. Let's go right through it.
Well, the funny thing is, it was supposed to be 5 teams in Division 1, and it was supposed to be 10 teams in Division 2. But the weather concerns kept a lot of teams from traveling, so it came down to just 3 teams in Division 1, but it includes top seed Fulton, and 5 teams in Division 2, though Central Valley remains the top seed and the number 2 ranked small school. Whoever wins these meets today will be at SRC Arena next Saturday for the state dual meets. And for the second edition of that event, which will be a team competition to determine who has state championship honors, to go with eventually the state tournament that takes place on individuals next month in Albany.
You look at, and I always kind of break things down a little bit this way, far deeper field than Division II. And I want to talk a little bit more about wrestling here. But you've got General Brown, the 3 seed. You have all these great programs that are part of this thing. Then, of course, SRC Arena on January 26th. They take part in the New York State Public High School Athletic Association dual meet. Second, really, edition of this event that brings together all these champions, similar sexual dual meets from across the state. They've really done a nice job producing some really great wrestling and tournaments and structuring this.
Yeah, as we've seen before, obviously the strongest large schools come from Western New York, maybe the Albany area. Certainly Long Island brings some really strong teams. But among the small schools, you could see Central Valley, if they get through this dual meet, may have a shot at the state title next Saturday. We're already into postseason, even though we're in the dead of winter. The postseason in wrestling is an extended thing. You have the dual meets, then you have the league championships, then the sectional meet at SRC Arena on February 9th, I believe it is. Then the state championships on February 22nd and 23rd. So we're coming along very quickly to the decisive moments of the wrestling season.
In the meantime, plenty of large-scale wrestling meets took place last weekend. There was a Phoenix Midwinter Classic where General Brown finished atop over JDCBA, CNS, and Liverpool. While at VVS, there was the Red Devil Invitational with Camden finishing 3rd behind Warrensburg and Windsor, and Beaver River was 6th. Casanova Invitational, that was a thriller. Think about that. Rome Free Academy holding on to finish top of a 1.5 points over Indian River. How about that one?
RFA is one of those programs, large school wrestling, that's revived themselves this season, and I think CNS has done so as well. They've done a nice job moving to the top of the league, although you've got a meet between CNS and Liverpool next week for first place in the league. The rivalry actually really means something this time. I think there's going to be a good battle for the Class AA honors in a couple of weeks between, CNS is a much deeper squad than before, but JDCBA, they're still a very solid team, even though Fulton really handled them in a head-to-head earlier this week. Fulton clearly still the strongest large school and the likely team to get to SRC next weekend.
Some top wrestlers went to the massive Eastern States Classic at Sullivan Community College, where Central Valley finished 18th, Fulton 23rd. Phoenix's terrific Ross McFarland.
Ross the Boss, we remember him.
That's right, prevailing at 170 pounds. Ross the Boss.
Yes, I mean, Phoenix is not a strong team-wise, but Ross is still there, a reigning state champion, and after another one this year.
It was a busy weekend, too, for indoor track and field. Think about it, going back to individual competition. So Frederick, Christian, Invitational, SRC Arena, Baldwinsville beat CNS. Let's go right through that real quick, so we've got a couple minutes here.
Yeah, Baldwinsville's boys team, with their strong distance runners and strong sprinters and great in relays, that was really the difference. They knocked off CNS, even though the North Stars, Jeremiah Willis won his usual 3 events. And by the way, with Jeremiah Willis, he won 2 more events last night at the Mohawk Valley meet, as CNS won both the boys and girls divisions. And Willis on Wednesday is going to announce his college letter of intent. He's one of those rare instances of a guy who really has choices to make. I mean, the signing is going to take place. He's going to choose between USC, Louisville, and Indiana, by the way. He's going to make that announcement on Wednesday. And we're very curious to see what happens with Jeremiah, one of the best all-around athletes we've seen here in a long time, multi-time state champion. But I think he's going to be playing football as a defensive back for college. So that's one thing we can look out for.
That's pretty cool. Boys swimming, a clash of undefeated teams that took place last Saturday at Liverpool, defeating Watertown 99-81. All the CAC swimmers go to Nottingham. Obviously, that took place Friday. We talked a little bit about that real quick with Baldwinsville here. That was in studio. Any other swimming stuff we should mention?
Well, that was the main things. I mean, obviously, SC Baldwinsville swept all 3 relays at the SCAC meet and qualified 2 of them in the 200 medley and 200 freestyle relay for the state championships. And now they've got people qualified in most of the races, by the way. And by the way, I wanted to mention a couple of football things. Tom Schoen announced his retirement from Whitesboro football a couple of weeks ago. The all-time winningest Section 3 coach, 8 all-time in the state, 270 wins or so, a dozen league titles, 8 sectional titles, a couple state semifinal appearances. He will be vastly missed. And also, Casnovia's Jay Steinhorst made it official that he's retiring after this. You know, he was a longtime assistant under Tom Neidl, then took over in his first year. Casnovia won the first ever state championship in Class B, then won another sectional title a year later. Jay's one of those rare guys who coached 3 sports. He coached football, he coached varsity baseball to a sectional B2 title in 2012, and he coaches boys indoor track, and Class has a great indoor track team this season, by the way. So, Jay, we wish him well. He's going to move out to Colorado, join his wife and his daughter, who was out there at Colorado. So, wish him well.
Phil, what else? Anything else interesting?
Well, we wanted to mention, I'm trying to think here, lots going on. We mentioned volleyball, obviously, with Chittenden staying undefeated, but also I think Carthage's coach got her 400th career victory earlier this week. You got some undefeated teams at New Hartford. Great season they're having. Mount Markham's having a great season. And obviously Chittenango's dominating everybody. And Carthage is again undefeated up in the north after that shocking loss they took to Watertown last year in the playoffs, trying to come back to the top in Class A. Those volleyball teams are doing well. It's a busy, busy time of year, even with the weather trying to mess everything up here today. So stay safe, everybody.
All right, Syracuse Legends on deck. Let me see what I've got coming on today. Scoop Jardine, Adrian Allen, Brandon, and then next week I've got Raphael Addison popping on and Trevor Cooney. So, and Cuse today, Pittsburgh. So we'll see you on Syracuse Legends Show in just a couple of minutes here. This is ESPN Radio 97.7, 100.1. 77, 100.1. 77, 100.1.